Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. We are from section 1 and 2 from group 2C. Our project is biopolymer packaging food. First of all, I want to introduce my group members. First, Muhammad Haris Haikal bin Zain Azman. Second, my name, Muhammad Fakrul Hakim bin Ahmad. Then Muhammad Naim bin Ismail, Muhammad Syafiqul Haziq bin Abdul Rahman, and last, Muhammad Adlil Akmal bin Razali. We will present our project about biopolymer packaging food in more depth, and we elaborate about the biopolymer packaging food. So we continue with introduction. For introduction, food packaging is a packaging for food. A packaging provide protection and tampering resistant and special physical, chemical or biology needs. And it may be a nutrient facts label and other information about food being offered for sale. And packaging food is important to protect the food because packaging is important to maintain the benefit of food after the process is complete, enabling foods to travel safely for long distance from their point of origin and still be wholesome at the time of consumption. So our project is to make sure the food and the nutrient for the food is still origin and still can eat when the food needs to traverse a long distance to safely arrive. However, packaging technology must balance food protection with other issues, including energy and material cost. Material cost is also important for our project. Heightened social and environmental consciousness and strict regulation on pollutants and disposal of municipal solid waste. There are several types of food packaging, such as bags, box, cans, cartons, flexible packaging, and other than that. There are several materials that used for food packaging, such as plastic, glass, paper, and metals. Biopolymer is more effective and suitable for food packaging because can increase the shelf life of food and can avoid the bacteria from food. Because if bacteria have in that food, we cannot eat that food anymore. And for increase the shelf life, it means we can increase the duration about the duration, the food duration to long term. So if we put the food in packaging, we can still eat that food for 2 weeks or 3 weeks more. So next about the material, I will pass to my group members to elaborate more about the materials that we use for our project.
Dengar suara. Hello. So the next part is the material. So the material we use in the biopolymer is the starch. So the main material is the starch. The choice of material is to make a very important things because you can increase the durability and also increase the expiry of the food. So this is because to ensure the durability and quality of the item is the best. For the product we produce is biopolymer food packaging. Eventually, the material used in the food packaging is a starch, whereas the base material in the food processing and characterization and application comprises as a experimental approach related to the processing and characterization of biopolymer derived from the different starch. So the starch uh, have a two types, which is it has amylose and amylopectin. So both covalent bond, uh, it forms a biopolymer in the starch. So this is a biodegradable character as well as a low cost. The starch is classified as a polysac polysac polysaccharide, and its basic unit is a glucose. So it is considered as a biopolymer mainly due to its natural origins. Constitutes by two main components, amylose and amylopectin. Amylose is essential and linear polymer, whereas the glucose are joined by the 1 to 4 bond, which is the amylose consists of one or four bonds. So in the linear section, so in the branching point, it is a 1 to 6 bone, which is consists that in the amylopectin, which is responsible to the starch and crystalline and lamina. Although their branching point are part of amorphous one. The presence of amorphous is a crystalline region in the starch and granulase confers to this biopolymer and semi-crystal entity. So the next part is I'm going to explain about the bones. So the bone is 1 to 4, which is consists in the linear section. So in the next bone is amylopectin, which is it is consists in the branching point, which is they got 1 to 6 covalent bond. So which is have hydrochloric and CH. So the four water molecules are located between the helix and producing a more density packed crystallized structures. Observe a starch organization are confirmed. This organization of amylopectin are reorganized. So this is which is it will produce a new crystallized structure. So the study we will carry out size exclusion chromatography column at a low pressure using a diverse gel and produce a good food processing material. So that's all. The next part I will continue to the I will give to the Haris.
Um, Thank you, Haziq. And right now I'm going to present about processing and manufacturing. With the development of food processing industry, there has been a significant increase in the demand for petroleum-based packaging material for food application. However, because of their resistance to biodegradation, increased use of plastic has caused serious ecology problems in the environment. Biopolymers, which degrade easily in the environment and mimic the properties of conventional polymers, can be used to solve the problem caused by plastic. Biopolymers are polymers derived from biomass that are synthesized from bio-derived monomers and produced by microorganisms. For biopolymers, there are several film formation methods available, including solution casting, melt compounding, electrospinning, and extrusion blown film. Electrospinning and extrusion blown film methods are used because of the application which are already widely used in the industry for food packaging. And what is electrospinning? Electrospinning is a viable way of producing submicron or nanoscale polymer fibers. It is achieved by continuously drawing a droplet of polymer solution or melt polymers into a fine fiber and depositing it on a ground collector using an electrical field. It is made up of a high voltage power surrounded collector, which can be either a plate or a rotating drum. And for the step number 1 for electrospinning is the polymer solution or matte polymer extruded to form a droplet at the needle tip by a syringe pump. And then an electric field is applied between the needle tip and the conductor. Next, the hemispherical surface of droplet is distorted into a conical shape through the action of two major electrostatic forces, which is internal electrostatic repulsion and external Coulombic force. And then the electrical charge jet of polymer is ejected from the tip of Taylor cone and directed toward the collector with opposite charges. Rapid evaporation of solvent takes place and polymer nanofibers are deposited on the ground collector and as randomly oriented non-woven mat. And then for the extrusion blown field, extrusion blown field is the continuous melting of one or more polymers to a circular die to form a hollow tube. Is known as blown film extrusion. The tube expands with air, after which collapse and coil. And then for the step of the extrusion, number 1 is the tube of the film continues its movement upward, constantly coiling till it passes via knit row. And then the tube is flattened for the creation of lay flat tube of film. And then the lay flat tube goes back to the extrusion tower via rollers. On the higher output line, exchange of air, which is available in the bubbles, takes place. Then the lay flat film is kept as it is, or its edges are slit off for producing two flat film sheets and wound up onto the rail. And then lastly, the film tube is created into bags by the process of sealing all across the film with a long cutting or perforating. And then that's all for processing and manufacturing, and I'm going to pass the mic to Adli Akmal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So for my part is the selection of suitable material and processing. So the first part is the introduction of biopolymer. So the basic introduction for biopolymer is biopolymer are polymeric biomolecules which contain monomeric units that are covalently bound to the form large molecule. The prefix bio means they are biodegradable material produced by a living organism. A wide variety of material usually derived from biological sources such as microorganism, plant, or tree can be described using the term of biopolymer. Material produced by synthetic chemistry from biological source such as vegetable oil, sugar, fats, resins, protein, amino acid, and so on also can be described as a biopolymer. As compared to the synthetic polymer, which have a simpler and more random structure, biopolymer are complex molecule assembled that adopt precise and defined 3D shape and structure. Biopolymer. So this is one important property which make the biopolymer active in molecule in vivo. The defined shape and structure are indeed keys to the function. For example, hemoglobin would not be able to carry oxygen in the blood if it was not folded in the quaternary structure. So the next part is the advantage of the biopolymer. So for the advantage of the biopolymer, number 1 is high service temperature. The service temperature application made by the biopolymer can stand up with 100 degrees Celsius, and bio-based hot beverage cup, pots, and utensils for the freshly cooked food. So the number 2 is high sealing performance, having at least the same level of seal strength as the conventional petroplastic but achieved with a lower temperature. We provide the same performance with less cost in the waste disposal aspects. Number 3 is cleanable without pre-treatment. Number 4, compatible with the natural fiber. And number 5 is the excellent processability, such as available in wide range of MFI to suit with your requirement. And the last one is the biopolymer is certified all over the world for the biodegradation and food contact. So for the biopolymer process, we provide the picture of the biopolymer process for the better understanding. And the simple biopolymer process that I can explain is biopolymer, which is produced with the help of microorganism, requires specific nutrient and controlled environmental condition. The mechanism of synthesis of biopolymer from bacterial origin is believed to be either as a result of the defense mechanism or as a storage material. Also, the biopolymer or organic plastic are formed of plastic derived from the renewable biomass source, such as vegetable oil, cornstarch, and pea starch, and so on. And the last one is the use of algae, open up the possibility of utilizing carbon, utilizing greenhouse gas emission from the factories of power plants. So that's all from me, and I will pass to my roommate, Tan.
For the use of biopolymer in food packaging, is the most common biopolymer used in the packaging are polyhydroxyalkanoate and PHA, polyalkylic acid (PLA), and starch. Starch and PLA are commercially available biodegradable, making them a common choice for packaging. However, their barrier properties and thermal properties are not ideal. Hydrophilic polymer are not water resistant because it can allow water to get through the packaging, which can affect the contents of the package. Polyglycolic acid, which is PGA, is a biopolymer that has great barrier characteristics and is now being used to break the barrier obstacle from PLA and starch. Next, I pass to my friend.
Okay, the conclusion of our project is the food industries are gradually improving and advanced in the packaging sector. These advances have led to improve food quality and safety. And the new advances have mostly focused on delaying oxidation, and controlling moisture, migration, microbial growth, and respiration rates. And the focus parallel that of food packaging distribution, which has driven change in the key areas of sustainable packaging. For example, like plastic trays and plastic bags that are being widely used and improved to increase the quality of the food. And furthermore, the choice of materials to be used in the manufacture of a more environmental friendly packaging materials. The criteria needs to take into account business consideration and strategies while addressing environmental concerns relate to the life cycle of the packaging. The primary purpose of the packaging material is to protect the item being shipped from damage via impact or abrasion. And therefore, protection should be first consideration. Then moreover, films derived from starch are very brittle. In order to improve their handling, plasticizers, incorporation, blending with other materials, chemical modification, or a combination of these treatments are possible alternatives. This chapter focuses on the step and art related to development of different kind of food packaging. In this context, a detailed description and main characteristics of starch-based packaging are included. So that's all for the conclusion. I will pass to Naim to elaborate about the supporting materials.
Okay, lastly is for the supporting material. The biopolymers are natural polymers produced by the cell of living organisms. Biopolymers consist of monomeric units that are covalently bonded to form larger molecules. As food contact materials, biopolymers are increasingly being utilized as alternatives to conventional plastic obtained from oil derivatives. There are the pros and cons of using biopolymer. The biopolymer pros is biopolymer are made from plant raw materials instead of petroleum oil. The raw material used to make conventional plastic. No oil drilling, cold milling, or pressing are needed to make plant-based biopolymer. The plant raw materials are renewable and sustainable, unlike oil, which is limited and finite resource. The carbon footprint of manufacturing biopolymer is reportedly 75% lower than that of PET and PS alternatives. Their manufacture is kinder to the environment. And the biopolymer front is the biopolymer growing demand for biopolymer creates competition for food source, contributing to the global food crisis. This is a misleading argument commonly used against biopolymer. The raw material for biopolymer is an industrial grade corn which is not grown for human consumption. Recent technological developments in the biopolymer industry have shown that it is possible to make biodegradable biopolymer from hemp, seaweed, and other plants. As the market grows, we can expect to see many new innovative production approaches. Humans have always used plants for non-food purposes. Biopolymers encourage people to litter more. We hope not and do not encourage littering with our products. Littering is a human behavior which requires education, raise awareness, and a good infrastructure to be reduced. And that's all from me.
Thank you.
That's all from my group.
So that's all from my group about our project is biopolymer packaging food. So thank you and goodbye.